Welcome back to SwitchCorner. Today it's our weekly look at 5 hidden gems on the Nintendo Switch. I give you the rundown of why I like them, who out there might enjoy them, and maybe then you can consider like picking them up or even just adding them to your wish list for, future consideration. So with that, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here, join our growing family, and let's get started. So first up this week, this is actually a pretty new game. I've actually got a few of them in today's video, but Evergate. Recently we had a surprise indie direct and this dropped, but it also dropped alongside the likes of Raji and A Short Hike, which for me took kind of all the attention away from this one and left it somewhat underappreciated. Well, I'm here to tell you today this one is solid, and trust me, I wish this one I had reviewed on the channel immediately because it delivers in just so many ways. The idea with this one, you play as a spirit by the name of Key, and you need to uncover keys tied to another soul in this afterlife. The visuals, they immediately got me. While many of the levels look simplistic, there's actually some true beauty on show here, from the backgrounds to just some of the incredible life we get to interact with. The gameplay is simple in its design but provides some serious challenge in its execution. Your goal here is simple: move from the beginning of the stage to the exit while figuring out how to traverse these locations. In this one though, you can't just run and platform. Here you'll need to use what they tout as the soul flame mechanic. Basically, these are orbs scattered around the world and you'll fire your bow and see Key fly in the opposite direction. It's a game of understanding your abilities and adapting them to succeed. If that's not enough challenge for you then as well, there's a ton of collectibles along the way, as well as increasingly complex locations. I love the story, but the gameplay was what kept me coming back. It's not, I'd say, overly difficult, but I'd probably describe it as tough but fair. Puzzle platforming fans though, head here for a title that seems to have got lost in the noise of all the surprise drops around its release. Next up then, Manifold Garden, same release date as Evergate, same indie showcase, and for me, same underappreciation, or again, at least that's how I feel. I wanted to feature these two today because I absolutely had to get my feelings on them out there. Manifold Garden is fairly close to me calling it a masterpiece and a true experience if ever I've seen one. Set around the idea of Escher-esque architecture, geometry repeats itself infinitely in every direction. You'll need to figure out how to use that to your advantage. Not only can you rotate this world freely around you, but you'll need to recognize its tricks like infinite drops which fire you into a freefall as you figuring out that next move. I've never seen a game that quite looks or plays like this one. It captures its influences near perfectly, and the puzzles, again, kind of like Evergate, they may seem challenging at first, but they are very fair. It's just that brain power, it's for sure gonna drain it. Didn't review this at release because I'll be honest, I was sick at the time and the rotating cameras and free falling honestly kind of made me feel a little bit rough. But having beaten it now, this would have been an easy, amazing 9 out of 10. It's short, took me about 3.5 hours, but that felt just the right length for what the experience is. I didn't feel underwhelmed, I felt a sense of wonder of what I could have done better and how a different approach may have led to my success. If not now, then absolutely throw this one on your wish list if you are a puzzle fan. Alright, so let's change up the pace a little bit. Hatsune, Miku, Project Diva, Mega Mix, and I've been having a bit of a rhythm game resurgence in my house, and this is up there as one of my favourites alongside Teiko no Tatsujin. This is a more traditional approach though, no accessories needed for the best experience. Just a Joy-Con and a will to succeed, and that really is it. Saying that though, I will add it does have touchscreen functionality and a minor motion mode too, if that is more your style. Here though, what won me over was just the incredibly diverse catalogue of music, and while there's few tracks most of us will recognise, it doesn't mean you're not going to find a whole lot still to like. Where Hatsune does something different though, it's the way it communicates the notes to you. They fly all over the screen and it just changes things up frequently, so it's just kind of figuring out not only what you need to press next, but what's coming up, what directions it's coming from, and that presentation goes a long way. For me, it meant I was looking all over the screen and I wasn't just zoned in on one spot. It made for something that felt a little more frantic and exciting than the traditional experience. Wrap it up then with a stunning visual style and over-the-top flash, and this one is a winner. It is a little on the pricier side, this one, there's no doubt about it, so if it's a little bit too much for you to invest right now, add it to the watch list because it does go on sale every so often. Then though, when you do fall in love with it, I suggest you go and check out the extra tracks available thanks to some good old DLC. Now this one, it got a physical release, but that doesn't take away from the fact I don't think it's talked about near enough. This game, it is Darkest Dungeon. This one is just brutally difficult, but also by far one of, if not the most rewarding experiences I've had on the Nintendo Switch since owning it. Stumbled across it honestly by mistake. I saw it physical on sale and picked it up, and I had no idea what kind of journey was ahead of me. This game will honestly drive nearly every emotion known, from screams of pains to moments where you want to run in the other room and just tell your family about, your victory, even though the person you're telling has no idea what you're banging on about. You just want to share it. Here's the idea though: you're recruiting, training, and then leading a team of warriors into dungeons, working towards a goal, and just basically finding yourself in a whole lot of turn-based battle. Don't get too attached to these warriors though, they will die, and they will die a lot. And in this one, you're facing permadeath, so you're going to be recruiting over and over again. If the monsters don't kill you, how about stress, famine, paranoia, fear, or diseases? Come here though to clear the family estate of monsters, and once you find yourself getting into one dungeon, you'll find it hard to put down thanks to great battles, the ability to flee when you need to, visiting the local town, and managing your inventory. This game deserves to be talked about more, and it should honestly come pre-installed on consoles to remind people there is still games out there that are going to push you to your absolute limits. From a masterpiece now to one of my favourite games of probably the last 10 years, and that no doubt will be disagreed with, but this game, I can't question its quality, Firewatch. While the Switch version, it's not perfect, I still hold it as one I just cherish, and the portability, it outweighs any issues it may have. This couldn't be more opposite to Darkest Dungeon, honestly, as it's essentially a walking simulator, but the writing here for these characters, in my eyes, it's near perfect as it balances emotion and clear frustration, humour, and just generally the idea of escaping from the typical average day. Here you're playing Henry, it's 1989, you've left the 9-to-5 like life behind to be a fire lookout in the Wyoming wilderness. Job simple: watch out for wildfires and keep things ticking along. This though is when things go wrong. One night something strange occurs and you set out to dig into what has happened. I'll leave story there, no spoilers, but just know that the conversations between Henry and your supervisor Delilah are absolutely incredible as they go through all the motions of a normal conversation when two people are just getting to know each other. What elevates this one though above many out there, it's three things: the writing, as I said, the voice acting, and then the visual style. The artwork, it has this almost like cartoon like nature to it, but some of the set pieces you will see, the mountains, the lighting, it is all incredible. Played it on PC initially, then I added a physical copy to my PS4 collection, then I picked up the digital on the Switch, then I went to the dev store and added a couple of art prints for my wall, a t-shirt, and the soundtrack on vinyl. You can probably say I have a soft spot for this one. It's rare a game captures me like this one. It's a short ride, but it's one hell of a ride at the same time. Even when at the ending it may seem like it's losing its way just a little bit, it's going to bring it all back in for a satisfying conclusion. Incredible game that I can't recommend enough, and I've been waiting to feature this one since like episode 1, but I held off because I tend to talk about this game too much. If you don't buy it, at least watchlist it for the next time it's on sale. Also, my last point on Firewatch, check out the soundtrack and fall in love with it. It's on Spotify, it's by Chris Remo, and I'm calling out 2 tracks, Prologue and Old Shoshone. Incredible stuff, and in fact, Chris Remo is just in general a genius. Okay, so Firewatch rant over, and that is this week's 5 hidden gems. How hidden they truly are, it's as always down to opinion, but I love doing this series. I love sharing what I don't see mentioned enough, and honestly that doesn't quite have the same ring as 5 games people don't talk about enough. So with that then, as always, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. Helps more than you know, so just thank you all so much, it really is appreciated. If you do want to check that out for yourself, it is linked in the video description down below. Then finally, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.